We have some brand new patterns for Siser EasyPatterns Plus. So what's really cool about Siser EasyPatterns Plus is that you do not have to mask it. That's right, you're gonna cut it like regular heat transfer vinyl, meaning you load it in the cutter, you weed it, you press it. This is super cool. I am pumped about this new pattern. And yes, it comes on the carry already. So you just cut it, you're gonna cut this side, you weed it out, and then it's just ready to press, no masking. So of course, because this is, you know, an episode of HPM Live, you know that we already cut this in advance. I actually cut all this on a Silhouette Cameo Plus, which is the 15-inch model. I really dig it. I really dig that. And then of course, let me open up the, so that one was Grunge. This one is called Mood Ring, and it is cool as heck. Now this one comes with the print on the inside for whatever reason. But yeah, so you're just gonna cut out the white side, you're gonna weed it out, and then you're gonna flip it over to press. This is Mood Ring. There's another new color that debuted with this line of EasyPatterns Plus, and it's called Cuba. I don't have a sample of that on me, but you can check it out online. It's a really, really fun pattern. So yeah, but let's talk about what we have here. Now, Siser EasyPatterns, it's gonna be a great heat transfer product. Here's another really cool bonus about it. It presses at 305 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. That's right, because it's an easy product. It's gonna be very similar to the, I had to change my notes down. See, I got notes here. Because it's an easy product, it's gonna press 305 degrees, 10 to 15 seconds. It does not get easier than this, my friends. So you notice I have two different types of transfers here. Now, Siser EasyPatterns Plus, it can be layered. Yes, it just has to be the top layer. So here we have a standalone project. Now this is a really cool haunted house type of theme going on here, made with that grunge sample, or grunge pattern, I should say. Now what's really cool about this is I have it on a white shirt so you guys can see the details, but I'm gonna be super real with you. This grunge pattern looks incredible on black. Like, it just has a really cool, and I know it's a little hard to see, but in person, when you put this grunge, and I'm actually gonna do both. When you put grunge on black, it just has a really, really cool look. It's very subtle, but dude, very, very cool in person. Camera doesn't do it justice. And so this is an example of how you could use Siser EasyPatterns Plus as a standalone graphic. It's just one layer, but it has all this cool, because it's, you know, a printed pattern, it has all this extra dimension to it. So it just looks really doggone cool. Now, again, because it can be layered and it has to be the top layer, what that means is you could put it on directly on top of other vinyl, but you don't want to put any vinyl on top of your EasyPatterns Plus. So one really great way to work around that is what we call the knockout method. So you see, I'm gonna put this a little closer here. You see this graphic? I have my cool little vintage groovy bus going on over here. I have the cool "Be Kind" one to another quote up here in this cool text, and I'm using the Mood Ring EasyPatterns Plus as an accent. So it's making up part of my little groovy surf bus, and then it's also an outline to my text. Now, if you look really close, I don't know how close we can get, but we're about to find out. If you look really close, you'll notice that none of the layers are touching and none of them are sitting on top of each other. Even the text, I knocked out the text. So let me see here. I kind of assembled everything on here. So, I have a lot of layers going on this graphic. Okay, here we go. So you see here, so it's all just different layers, really. We have the layer of black, the windows are another layer, and then I have the white layer right here. See, so the text is white, and then this is just empty. I blocked out the center because, again, the easy patterns cannot be under anything else. You could be beside it all day, which is exactly what we did for the knockout method. We have videos on how to do the knockout method, so be sure to check out our YouTube channel. So you see, when you split it up one layer at a time, it's not that impressive, but when we combine them, that's when it looks super cool. And that's one thing I really love about Siser EasyPatterns Plus is that it's cool as like a standalone layer. Like, yeah, it could be your whole graphic if you want to and look amazing, and it can accent your graphic. It doesn't really matter what color garment you have. It's gonna look the same no matter what. So if you have a black shirt, a blue shirt, a gray shirt, I actually pre-pressed this one before we went live. But there's something about the grunge on black. It's like a little extra spooky. It's a little extra dark maybe. Look, I know we're in August, but man, spooky season is right around the corner. And before you know it, you're gonna want a cool t-shirt. If you're like me, I am not a huge fan of dressing up for Halloween. I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah, part of it was my upbringing, but now that I'm an adult, I don't give a darn. Now, one thing I do is I do like wearing cool t-shirts. So sometimes, hey, I'm probably not gonna be wearing a costume. Actually, I'm definitely not gonna be wearing a costume. Call me the Grinch of Halloween, I don't care. But one thing that I will do is I am very much down to be wearing a cool t-shirt come the 31st. So again, I hope this is in frame and in focus, but if not, oh well. You guys get the idea. So look how cool this grunge pattern looks on a black t-shirt. I just want you guys to behold the coolness. Okay, so now I cut all of my outline or accent portions at once. I grouped them all together so I can cut them in one piece and heat press them in one piece. So this one, I kind of do have to nail it as far as like the placement is concerned. Okay, call it right there. Because everything else is gonna be lined up with this. So first things first. Okay, that's actually looking pretty cool. And it kind of doesn't look like much. I'm gonna be totally honest. It doesn't really look like much because it's an accent color. But as you see, we knocked everything out. So everything is gonna fit kind of like puzzle pieces. They're all just gonna kind of, oh, that's one thing I didn't want to mention. Sorry. They're all gonna fit in like puzzle pieces, so it's gonna be great. Remember, when you're layering, you only need to press for about 3 to 5 seconds for your first couple of layers. I went for like 8 seconds, so whatever. It's not gonna hurt it. But yeah, for your first few layers, you only need to go for about 3 to 5 seconds to tack it in place. And then for your final layer, that's when you press for the full 10 to 15. Okay, so we got layer 1. Let's come in with our white layers. Give me 2 seconds while I grab these here. Okay, so we're gonna start with the bust layer. Also, another thing I love about the knockout method is you have a little room to kind of be loose with it. When you're creating your outline, you might be using like an offset tool in your cut software. You want to be a little generous with it because if your tolerances are too tight, it's not going to line up properly. So you definitely want to leave a little gap between layers just so you have a little room to play around, because it's not always gonna line up perfectly. But that looks pretty darn good. Okay, so my white layer is going on, and now you can kind of see it coming together a little bit. You know, as we go layer by layer and we add more and more to our design, you'll see that it's coming together quite nice. And I'm just adding Siser EasyWeed here. So this white vinyl that I just put down, that's Siser EasyWeed. Next up, I have my black layer, and this is gonna be my wheels, my surfboard, and other accents for the bus. And again, kind of like a puzzle piece. You see it all just kind of fits in there. Put that back down. We're gonna press for another about 3 to 5 seconds or so. There we go. And again, if you're sensitive to heat, please get some gloves on. I don't know if it's because I've just been doing this for so long or what, that it's hot, but maybe I'm just a superhero, you know? Maybe I'm just awesome. I'm not quite sure. But in any case, I'm okay with the heat right now. But there's no shame in getting yourself some gloves. Final layer is gonna be the windows on this minibus. And because this is the last layer, actually what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna press this one for about 3 to 5 seconds or so. Gonna peel it, and then everything together is gonna get a final press with just the vinyl and just the parchment paper. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes the edge of the carrier sheet, it leaves a little line in other layers, and because I don't want that, I'll remove all the carrier sheets, all the plastic, etc. And then I'll just cover it up, and then I'll give it the full final press, just the vinyl up against the parchment. So that's it. I mean, that's really, really quick. Gonna peel that off, and man, I'm proud of this one. That looks great. Like, look, I know I'm talking about my own work here, and so maybe that's a little prideful of me to call my own work great, but doggone, I think that looks really cool. So you can see that we use the Siser EasyPatterns as, oh, the camera's moving, as our accent. So it makes a really cool accent around the main text, really cool elements for this bus, and honestly, the opportunities are endless. This makes a really good unicorn too, by the way, just because it has those cool, like kind of psychedelic colors. So it's really, really rad. I'm a big fan of the new Siser EasyPatterns, and these are just 2 of the new EasyPatterns Plus. I did mention there's a 3rd color that's brand new. That one's called Cuba, I believe. But yeah, if you have any questions at all, you can type them in the comments below. We're happy to get to them. You can give us a call at 800-215-0894, and of course, get in the live chat on the website heatpressnation.com. But most importantly, head on over to heatpressnation.com and get yourself a few sheets or a roll or whatever of the new Siser EasyPatterns Plus